Welcome to the Endurance Horse Podcast, where endurance riders from all across the globe gather, sharing their stories, goals, and progress as they train for and compete in endurance events at every level. So kick off your shoes, pull up a chair, and listen as we gather around the virtual campfire and listen to friends from across the world.
Horses. Hello. Hello and welcome to another episode of Endurance Horse Podcast. I am your host, Christina Hyke, and today we're diving into an inspiring story from the Michigan ride, Metropark Express, also known as Detroit Horsepower, named in honor of the charity that this event is tied to. In this episode, I'll be speaking with volunteer Jennifer Shoshanian, who helped bring this ride to life. And in a part 2, we'll be speaking with David Silver, founder of Detroit Horsepower. We recorded this very close to the event date, so while I couldn't share it to you before it took place this year, I'm thrilled to be bringing it to you now. Hopefully, you'll be inspired to add this ride to your calendar next season. Without further ado, let's jump into this episode of Endurance Horse Podcast. Hi, Jennifer.
Good morning.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Christina. So happy to be a part of it so we can let people know about this awesome event.
So, this is one I've had my eye on, but you're just a little too far away. But I think someday I'm going to have to go over and borrow somebody's horse. Come over and see what it's all about.
Absolutely. We'd love to. I could find you a ride. Come join us. We'd love to have you.
Tell me, this ride is so fascinating to me because, well, you have a lot of great, you're sanctioned by Oates, Glendra, ARC, and UMECRA. So that's fabulous.
Yes.
You are partnered with, and this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because I've only managed one ride in my life. That was the Warhorse ride here a few years back during the pandemic. And I loved making it all about a charity. And that's what I love about this ride. So it used to be called the Metropark Express, and now it is the Detroit Horsepower Ride because of your great partner, the Detroit Horsepower Center. So tell me a little bit about how long has this ride been going and what you offer.
Absolutely. This ride was started actually in 2015, and it was originally called the Huron River Ride. And as you know, it takes a village of people to keep a ride going. So it's gone through a couple of name changes and management changes as well. It was renamed in 2016 to Metropark Express. Then in 2020 to Metropark Express Benefit Ride for Detroit Horsepower. And then now it's officially called Detroit Horsepower. And it's been managed by a handful of ride managers and assistant ride managers over the years. Rusty Toth started it, then Bev London managed it for a few years. Alicia Mansuetti, Melinda Capiano, and then my mentor, Mindy Myers, have all helped with managing or being assistant ride managers. But in 2022, Alicia officially moved to South Carolina, and so someone needed to pick up the ride, and so it was handed off to Laura Roberts Bear and Amy Whalen. And then this is a ride that I give back. This is my give back to the community. One, because it's for a great cause, the Detroit Horsepower, but I act in an official capacity, but marking the trails or the trail boss. So it's just great working with Laura and Amy. And like I said, as you know, it takes a village to put on a ride. So it's currently the largest ride in Michigan. So it takes a bit to get it put on.
I have been really drawn to the ride just because it is a charity ride. And I think that I hope somebody listens to this and says, this would really re-energize my ride to be a charity event. I just wanted to mention you are a Friday and Saturday ride, and you're
Correct.
doing a 50 on Friday and a 50 on Saturday.
We do 50 on Friday and Saturday. We also have 25 LD and CTRs that are running both days, along with a 15 novice and intro ride running both days as well.
That is a great layout. Tell me a little bit. We're going to have David. You connected me with David from Horsepower. So we're going to have him on to talk a lot more about the cause and all the things that are going on over there right now. But could you give me just a little insight about how successful this has been as a fundraiser? Because I seem to remember reading in the past that this ride really did fabulously as a fundraiser.
It's done extremely well. David Silver, he's the founder of Detroit Horsepower, and it's a nonprofit organization. And I won't tell, all of his story, but just a little bit. He was an elementary school teacher in Detroit, and he really learned firsthand how the skills that he could teach through the riding and caring for horses could help children. He's built this program for Detroit's youth, and they're currently moving forward with plans to build an urban equestrian center on some land in Detroit that was originally a school property. So they're buying that property, and plans are moving forward on that. It will also serve as a community center as well. So it's a wonderful organization. All the proceeds from this ride go to this organization. Last year, the ride raised nearly $10,000 for Detroit Horsepower. And the riders that come to Detroit Horsepower are really generous. Matter of fact, this year we even received a $1,000 donation from one of the riders above and beyond the ride fee. So it's not uncommon for many people to donate a little extra on top of the ride fees towards it. So I think what I also love about this ride as well is this year we actually have 63 different riders signed up for a total of 81 rides. So people riding both days, but it draws from Michigan. We have riders this year from West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, Illinois, Kentucky, New York, Indiana, and we also have a handful of riders even from Ontario. So it draws in a lot. I think there's a lot of reasons why it draws riders. It's a great venue. All the prizes we have are donated, and we have great prizes. I know we don't all ride for the prizes, but we really do have great prizes. The ride vets also volunteer their time.
Oh, wow.
And then historically, we get a lot of volunteers as well, which includes vet students from MSU. So we have some vet students that are going to be volunteering again this year. Alicia, who was formerly the ride manager, they support a Friday night Mexican fiesta. So we host a catered Mexican meal, and it's out in this huge field. And so it can handle a lot of riders, even those riders with big rigs as well. And then this year we added Ride with GPS, so we could have additional navigation support. And that the Arizona Endurance Riders helped us out with that as a part of additional tools for this ride, because we've had some trail sabotage just like many others. So we're putting this in as another support just to really try to make the ride the best we can.
I love that you have people donating extra, because I think whenever you do something like that, so
right.
It does something. Don't you feel like it does something to your spirit that you're out there riding with purpose? And to me, that's
absolutely.
It just makes your ride stand out so much more and give people so much more purpose, because then it's not just another event they're going to. Really you're paying it forward to the next generation of horse people.
Yes, and not just to the horse people and trying to attract more riders to our sport, but also it's giving back to the community in which we live, and so I first started riding this ride in 2016, and then my friend and mentor, Mindy Myers, she started as the ride manager in 2017. So naturally, I volunteered or was voluntold. but since then, it's the one way that I can give back to the sport, but give back to the community as well. So it does make it. It makes you feel good that you're doing something to give back. And I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way as well. So coming to this ride, it's become really popular, and right now it's the largest ride in Michigan.
So, a question, do you have any riders who have come full circle where they've attended Horsepower and then they got to compete in this event?
We have had several riders that have come in the novice and intro. So some of the students, and David could probably speak to this with more accuracy or clarity, is that some of the students that participate in the organization will also come out and volunteer, and then they will also do the novice and intro ride. So there's been a few. As of yet, I don't know if anyone from Detroit Horsepower has actually competed in like a 25 or a 50, but we have definitely had some, start with the novice and intro rides.
I love what you're doing there so much. I forgot to ask you the question that I always ask everybody, which is how did you begin to get into horses?
Oh, goodness. Well, I've been horse crazy for as long as I can remember. It may have started when my dad put me on my grandparents' chestnut quarter horse at 18 months old. And there's a picture of me with my dad, and all you can see is his hand. And he's holding me in the saddle and this huge grin on my face. So I always say, and it's a very special picture for me because I feel like that really just kind of started that horse fever, as I called it. But even growing up, anyone in our neighborhood that had horses knew me because I was knocking on their doors to do anything I could with their horses and their ponies. Can I brush them? Can I play with them? Can I help train them? Anything I could. And my aunt, who lived right, just a few, quarter mile down from us, she bred Arabians. And so I would help care for her horses also. But the obsession of knocking on people's doors led one of our family friends that lived down our long driveway to actually gifting me one of their horses that I was absolutely in love with. And that was Cricket. She was a double registered Arab Welsh cross, and that was in 6th grade. And since that time, there's only, a short spell of time, maybe 5 or 6 years out of my life that I haven't had a horse. So, that's as for as long as I can remember, I've been that horse crazy kid.
So who was it, or how did you find out about the sport of endurance?
So I had a mutual friend that kept telling me, you need to meet Mindy. You need to meet Mindy. Well, she was also saying the same thing to Mindy. You need to meet Jennifer. You need to meet Jennifer. And we both kind of just blew it off. Yeah, they're into horses. Okay. Well, then we actually met, and it was instantaneous connection. So Mindy, what became my friend and mentor in 2015. And two things that happened. She's like, you like Arabians? I'm like, yeah, I love Arabians. And she said, and you want to get into endurance? I'm like, yes, I've always wanted to get into endurance. And she goes, you're my new best friend, whether you like it or not. And so she was getting back into CTRs after some time off because she rode as a junior. And so it was literally, I think, within the next 2 weeks, we went horse camping, and then we started to condition together. And what's funny is I thought she was nuts at first. I was always taught, you don't trot down hills. You don't let horses eat on the trail. Oh, my goodness, you definitely don't let them drink a whole bunch of water while they're hot. All the things that you're taught, right? But I quickly adapted. And then I rode my first ride in 2016 on my 19-year-old Morgan Trinket. And it was a CTR, which was such a great place to start because it taught me so much, pacing and care for your horse and the vet checks and the process and everything that you go through. And we had the first year, we finished in 2016 top 5 rookie of the year. 4 CTRs and first place in my weight division with the CTR. So I was hooked. So I fell in love with the sport and the people. I'm still a green bean, I have, I have 150 endurance miles, but roughly 870, almost 900, just total miles with endurance, LDs, and CTR. So, in the bigger picture, even though I've been doing this since 2016, I'm still a green bean. But, I love the sport and the people in it. And just most of all, I just love being in the saddle and on the trail. I've seen parts of Michigan that I've never seen before. And everyone in the sport is so giving. I've had a few bumps in the road over the last couple of years with my equids, as we would call it, and so I've been catch riding, and then I'm currently riding my mule Elvis and just having fun. So I've got a 2-year-old race-bred Arab that I got last year from Stone Valley Ray of Hope. They're a rescue for Arabians. So I'll be bringing him up slowly over the next several years. So I'm in it for the long haul. I've got big dreams and bucket list items I want to do. So, but the sport has it's become part of my DNA.
It is obviously addictive because I am not an avid endurance rider, but I still love the sport and I still promoting it for many reasons. I think there's so many proof in horses that moving distance benefits their whole body. If done right, you could do it wrong. But I just think overall, a lot of endurance horses are just pretty happy with their job. And if done correctly and they age well. I think distance riding, like we were saying earlier, it can be criticized when horses are injured or fall, which, like you said, can happen in a pasture, unfortunately.
Right.
Overall, as a sport, I think the longevity is there in the sport. And that's part of the thing that why I champion it through the podcast and through other means, because I would love to see it grow. And that's why one of the reasons I love your Detroit ride is it is so full of community. You are exposing people to this charity, which I wish more, I guess, so that's the question I'm getting to. How has pairing with a charity affected your ride overall? And would you encourage other people to do it? And if so, what tips would you give them if they're a ride manager and they would like to also pair with a charity?
Well, Alicia was really kind of spearheaded the making it a benefit ride through Detroit Horsepower. So there's a connection from David through Amy Whalen, who is also an endurance rider. He is actually her son-in-law. And so through that, they were able to come together and, they all felt passionate about, David's vision. And, there's been other people that have been passionate behind his vision as well. So, I think if you find something that's giving back, this one had a connection to the endurance industry, and David has a history with horses and things like that as well. I believe he, even did hunter jumper and things like that. But, if you find something that is a benefit ride or a charity, you reach out to them. This one may have been a little bit easier to turn into a benefit ride just because of the connections. But overall, I think everybody feels good about it. And it's a great venue as well. And so it takes a lot of work, to try to make this a benefit ride. It takes the volunteers. So, as a ride manager, for the ride managers, they're looking for those volunteers because, from putting on a ride that there's a lot to it. I would never want to put on a ride by myself. And and I have plans to go to Tevis every single year that I can because I love going. And next year it falls at Detroit Horsepower, so I won't be going to Tevis next year unless they randomly move the date. Because really, this ride is so big. I would not want to leave Amy and Laura without the additional support to help put this ride on. I mean, just getting the trails marked and then getting the GPS working and making sure that people won't get lost. I mean, it's a big lift for one person. And so just being able to help them, get volunteers, get people to commit, and then it does add another level of commitment because you're doing it for something that is bigger than our sport and bigger than you and giving back to the community.
So what kind of terrain do you have at your trail? I realize this is way short notice that obviously somebody can't, well, maybe somebody could go, oh yeah, I'm gonna head over there. But
yeah,
you never know. But maybe they'll put it on for next year. But what is your terrain over there, and what are you using for trail markings? Like maybe get ideas for their rides, or get ideas for their rides. Like for my ride, anytime I came to a part that even if it looked obvious that don't go there, I painted like an orange X on the ground that said, do not go there.
Yeah, I probably have a tendency to overmark, but I'd rather overmark and people not get lost. So, in answer to your, and I'll cover that here in just a second. But the ride itself is is held on two different properties per se. One is the Proud Lake Recreation Area. It is more technical and rockier and kind of windy trails up through the woods. It's more technical than the Kensington side of it, and so that one takes a little more challenging, but not difficult. And so there's on the Proud Lake side, there's about 14 miles over there. And then the rest of the ride is held at the Kensington Metropark. And it has a lot of rolling hills. It also has some trails through the woods, fields. Like there's a lot of great open fields where you can stop and let your horse get bites, as well. There's also, it goes along the scenic Huron River, and it has a couple areas where you can actually take your horses in the river. So one by ride camp that goes off to what we call the Red Trail, and then another one over kind of under a bridge that goes to the Blue Trail. And what's nice about that is that since this is an August ride and it can sometimes be pretty hot, it's just great to be able to get your horses in the water and cooled off. This year, the weather is going to be great. Well, it's pouring down rain today, so I'm glad it's happening today. But the forecast is actually 75 to 80 degrees for Friday and Saturday, and sunny, although we do have the humidity to deal with, and that's going to need to be factored in. It's going to be somewhere between about 73 and 74%. So it's nice to have that water to get into for the horses and get them cooled off as well. But the Kensington trails are beautifully maintained. They're wide trails. Some of them you could probably even take a cart down. So they're nice and wide. They get used a lot. And the Kensington Metropark is actually a really active community and park in the area. It has about every outdoor activity you can imagine. A few years ago, fun fact, this was pretty cool. It's happened 2 or 3 times now, I think, where a hot air balloon festival was hosted nearby. And so in the area in which we camp, which is all rustic, but it's a beautiful, well-maintained, nice open field, we had hot air balloons going over after the ride on Saturday. And it was like, you just looked up in the air and you're like, what a gift, to end our ride with looking up in the sky and seeing these beautiful hot air balloons. So it's a great ride, great venue. People really enjoy it.
So tell me about your awards. You said they were all sponsored or donated awards. So tell me a little bit about how you did that and what you have to offer?
That is how that happened is probably through Laura and Amy and their connections. But last year, we had these great stall bags that had Detroit horsepower across it. We've had fly masks donated from different individuals. Detroit Horsepower themselves actually do all the T-shirts for the ride. And so those connections probably, I would imagine, came mostly through Amy and Laura and Detroit Horsepower. I'm hoping, even this year, we were able to get Mark, I met him at Tevis with the heart rate monitors. And of course I bought them because I had to buy a handful of them. And, but he actually, donated for use some heart rate monitors as well, for the vet students and things like that. And so I think when people find out that we have a ride, in Milford, Michigan, it's Detroit Horsepower, it's a benefit ride, and people naturally, from the sport really just they want to help. And so I'm hoping, in future years we can continue, to get those donations, because it really just makes it more fun for everyone else. And actually in 2021, Alicia was instrumental in making it a Region 13 AHA ride with a 50-mile championship. So hoping we can do that again. So that really opened up more exposure for the ride as well. So then here you've got that regional championship. And then on top of it, it was a benefit ride. And then we started drawing in more and more riders from the different areas, like I mentioned earlier. So I think naturally, the endurance family wants to give back and give to the community. And I think everybody just feels good about it when they're done.
Right? You call it a benefit ride because it has a charity attached to it, but really it's a benefit ride because it just emboldens the spirit of the event and creates something more of it, which I absolutely love. It's really special. I just absolutely love that.
You need to come. I'll find you a horse. I'll find you a horse to ride. You just come and enjoy. It's just a great event. People are happy, enjoying the ride. It's a great venue. And, I'm even catch riding this year and had to borrow a horse to mark trails because my mule is on rest at the moment. So Elvis had to take a little break. But that's the thing about this, when I'm like, oh man, I'm in charge of marking trails and I don't have a ride. And I just posted out to the group. I'm like, hey, it takes a village. Anybody want to help me mark trails? And I got so many messages from people that were like, hey, I can come help scout trails on this. Because you know how it is when you're marking trails. You got to go scout them. You got to make sure that they're clear. Then we put in requests to the Kensington Metropark to clear. Like my friend and Lisa and I were out scouting one of the trails, and there was a huge tree over it. So literally I had to get off, crawl under the tree to get to the other side, because I'm also trying to GPS it at the same time. But you got to make sure the trails are clear. So you ride these trails at least twice before the ride even happens. And so many people just reached out and said, I've got a horse for you. And then my friend Mindy said, here, just take Legend, her little Arab for the whole time. And so I'll have him there as available to mark trail. But I also get to ride too, even though I don't get to ride Elvis. Catch riding a friend of mine's horses as well both days. So, it's just we all want to go out and have fun, enjoy it, be safe, and contribute. And so I just love how the endurance community really will pull together for things like that.
So how does this GPS work? Does it tell people where to turn or when they're off trail?
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Okay.
So it's a ride. It's ride with GPS. So typically, and again, the Arizona endurance riders, Lancet is just really trying to promote this and get more and more people to use it in their rides. So it's turn-by-turn directions.
Wow.
So you ride the trail.
No more crying.
Have the voice cues. No more crying. If you get off course more than 160 feet, it will say you're off course and show you how to get back on course again. And so what's nice about it is you go ride it, and you record your ride, and then you can you go in through the app and start building out the route so that you can share them with others. And that's where Lancet with Arizona Endurance Riders helped us out. But what's nice about it is you download those maps so you can use them offline. So when you're using those maps offline and you put your phone into airplane mode, right, and you have some settings, then you're not wearing out your battery. So, like I mentioned earlier, we've had, some trail sabotage, and so even last year we had that as well. So it'll be nice that not only will we have the ride GPS, it's not a requirement because we've marked the trails. And we use the, your typical, the wooden clips with the trail ribbons. And so those are all marked. There's signs at any turn, like you said, even if it looks obvious that's going to be the case. This year, the one area that typically gets sabotaged, it's pretty easy to follow the trail. There's just one turn that some get confused at, and so in case it gets sabotaged, in case they didn't download the right GPS, I'm taking white paint and I'm marking in the dirt, this way. So I'll be using that this year as well, just to add a couple backup plans in there. The Kensington is really easy because they're already marked. You just got to follow the Metropark, but we still put the ribbons up and the confidence ribbons. I know from being a rider, and you do too, it's like sometimes you're like, well, I think I'm still going the right way. Those
it's a horrible feeling.
Just makes you feel better. I know. And then you're looking at the ground. You're like, okay, hoof prints. Wait, but what if those hoof prints went the wrong way too?
They did. They have in the past. They really did. And tears were involved, and I don't cry easily, but I think it was because it was like, my poor horse, I just took you how many miles the wrong way. It was that kind of not tears for me. It was just frustration that I added more to my horse than needed to be. And where am I? Yeah, that's happened to me twice. And
it happened to me as well. I was doing a ride in Michigan at the Oak Leaf in October, and it's a wonderful ride as well. And so my goal was to do back-to-back 25s because I was moving my gelding up to 50s, and I wanted to see how he did on back-to-backs. And it's actually a 30. And I went off trail on day one, and I literally did 30 miles by the time I got to the outcheck. And so the ride manager, the ride that says, well, you have a choice. You can canter all the way back, and you might be able to make it. And I'm like, all I want to do is get miles on him this weekend. I said, I'm pulling because I'm not going to put him through that, my gelding all the way, at a canter all the way back to get to the finish. And so we trailered him back, and then we did another 30 the following day. So it was more about the miles and seeing how he would hold up to that than it was. But it's not fun when you're going along and you're trying to call the ride manager and you may or may not get reception, right? So I really like the secondary navigational support with using the ride GPS. And Barb Curdy, she runs the one, it's called Oak Leaf in October, and she was the first one in Michigan to use ride GPS. And so this will be the second ride in Michigan that will be using the ride GPS.
Hey, make tech your friend. Do you know? like you said, have all the trail markers and the ground markers. But I did find that marking on the ground does help too. I learned that from a friend of mine that does 100 miles and longer distances for people to run. And they use that a lot because, especially when they're running, they tend to look down a lot. So that's something. Well, it sounds like a great ride. I really do want to talk to my husband about, can I maybe go next year? I don't know about trailering over, but hop a train or something.
You could drive. Hey, look at it this way. You could drive over, you could camp, It's very close to, it's really close to area. I mean, literally 10 minutes, you could go to the store and get fried chicken. You could go to McDonald's because it's in a Metropark. You can go to Starbucks. Like, you can go get ice. You can go get fuel. There's hotels nearby. You could just come in and, and stay at a hotel if you wanted to. So that's the one thing is it's not remote. And so there's some advantages for that as well.
No, for sure. Next year, I mean, whether I would hop a plane or what, I think maybe, I know for sure I want to do it one of these years. This is definitely intriguing to me because I also want to go over and check out, Detroit Horsepower. And it looks like they're going to have a new place to be checked out. So maybe it's a good thing I waited.
I know. That's going to be so exciting. Hey, I'll even do you one better. You don't even have to stay at a hotel. My husband and I will put you up at our house. So you just get here and we'll take care of you. Come ride the ride. You'll love it.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. This has been a fun chat, and I wish you all the best in your trail marking adventures.
It helps me know the trail really well. As a matter of fact, the people I'm riding with, they're like, yeah, we're riding with you. We know we won't get lost. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You won't get lost. I think I'm dreaming these trails in my sleep right now.
I bet you are. I hope
Thank you so much for the opportunity and, for looking into this ride and letting your listeners know about it. Detroit Horsepower is really, it's a really great charity and it's a great ride. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope you have happy trail marking. And I can't wait to hear how all this goes this year.